my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about the case files of Jeweler Richard. There we go. At least volumes 1 and 2 of the manga. I am getting the light novel, but it's not released, I think, until September. So, no light novel review yet, but I'll let you know how I'm thinking about this manga series. I also haven't seen the anime yet. It is in my Crunchyroll watch list, but have not seen it yet. But I did devour these first 2 volumes of the series. Let's see, let's read the back of this. Back of volume 1, every jewel has its secrets. When Seiji Nakata rescued a handsome young jewelry appraiser from a group of drunken assailants, he got more than he bargained for. The appraiser is Richard... Oh no, I'm not saying that. He has a very long name. Rana Singhe Devolpian. I have no thoughts at all that was correct. A brilliant and mysterious British jewelry expert. Seiji hires him to appraise a family heirloom. And that is just the beginning. Together they unlock the secret messages hidden in the hearts of precious stones and those who possess them. So this is a very light, fluffy, but also kind of semi-mystery series. They're not like real mysteries. It's more like uncovering the heart of the story that's happening. Very much so like if you've read Holic by Clamp, and there's like the episodic issues, especially in the beginning, not so much once the story began to unfold and connect more to Tsubasa, but like the beginning when it was more the episodic and they'd help heal or address issues of whomever came into the shop. But not as dark as Holic either, because a lot of really dark stuff happened in Holic. Anyway, it's a bit more lighter and fluffier than Holic. But one, the artwork is beautiful. I was a big fan of the art in it, which made me want to keep reading. And I really like the interactions between Seiji and Richard. Seiji is the type who, well, to put it quite bluntly, he's a flatterer. But he also is very like naive about what he's saying. He doesn't realize how certain things he says could be taken. So he says a lot of things to Richard that could be perceived as very flirty. He talks about like how pretty Richard is and how all these just very flirty kind of things. And Richard repeatedly will try to warn Seiji that what he's saying could be taken the wrong way and that he needs to watch what he's saying. And Seiji doesn't get it because he thinks that he's just being honest and open and complimentary. But it's not really just that. Like, it's very much like flirty, you know, like a lot of people could take it as, you know, he's trying to obtain a romantic relationship with other people, in this case Richard. So there is this whole like relationship interaction that's very interesting that happens so far in the series. I only have the 2, and I think I have 3 on order, and then of course the light novel on order. But Seiji has a crush on his, I think she's his senpai. I don't think that they're just classmates. I think she might be like a grade above him. He actually has a crush on her. So in some of the story, it's him trying to get to talk with her. And I don't know, I guess for whatever reason, he's not as demonstrative with her as he is toward Richard. Because even she perceives him in a different way than what he's trying to present. And I think that's just, it's just interesting. Like that whole character look is interesting. But if I'm getting back to like the main, I guess, storylines that happen throughout it, it is that Seiji rescued Richard. Seiji, I think, I hope I'm correct in this, but I think he wants to be a policeman, or he's studying to be able to join the police. Or something akin to it. I think I'm correct. But he has a very like strong heart of justice and of trying to do what's right. And so he sees Richard like being kind of bullied, attacked, whatever, by this group of thugs. And so he like chases them off, saves Richard. They do a police report. I'm trying to remember like all that happens next. But anyway, they make an impression on one another. And Seiji does end up approaching Richard with this ring that he's had from his grandmother. And his grandmother and mother had a strained and not so good relationship. So it's like the only thing he has left of his grandmother. But he wants to know the truth of this ring. And the reasoning is because his grandmother became a thief in order to make money for the daughter, Seiji's mother. And that's also why their relationship is so strained, because she would also teach people to like be thieves, even though she was actually very embarrassed by the fact that she was a thief and was stealing things from people. She didn't like that fact about herself, but it just kind of is what it is. She didn't know any other way out of it, any other way to be. Like, she had to do this in order to survive. Her daughter, not so forgiving about that, believes that she could have chosen a different path. And Seiji feels kind of stuck in the middle, because of course he loves his mother, who's done her best his whole life for him, but also his grandmother, who helped to raise him, and he loved her. It was very just emotional, touching story. So he wanted to know more about the ring, if it had ever been He didn't tell Richard this, but he did kind of want to know if it could be proven that it was stolen, and then like maybe who owned it and everything. And that's one of the things that Richard reports back is, I don't know if you know this, but this ring was stolen. And then the whole story unfolds about the grandmother and how that's going. And a future story unfolds about who the original owner was and what happened with that, and what the impact was of having the ring stolen. And it's fascinating, and I really liked it. And it was really touching and emotional, and it was really sweet, and I just loved it. And then from their positive interaction with one another, Richard actually offers Seiji a job at his shop in Japan. Basically just asks him to keep an eye on the shop, keep the shop clean, and also to serve him tea when he wants it. So Seiji says yes to Richard and begins working with him, and then more stories unfold from that relationship and customers coming into the shop. There you go. Again, very similar to like how Hulk's setup was with how you got the different stories, because customers come into the shop and then there's something that needs to be addressed. Not as overt or paranormal or dark as Hulk, but you know, that similar kind of customer comes into shop, opens up this whole other story. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I look forward to comparing it with the light novel, but I also really look forward to getting to see the anime and see how it is played out with animation. At this point in the series, it reads borderline shonen ai. It does not read full shonen ai. I'm trying to remember what the term is that we use for it, where it's very like romantic, and there are things, again, that Seiji says, where there's this flirtatious, like fun undercurrent, but it's also not overtly shonen ai in my mind. And I think in a lot of people, like I think if if people say that it is, then like it upsets this group of people who are like, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. It very clearly could be shonen ai, like very clearly. This is one step away from being boys' love. And I don't know whether or not it's going to take that step or whether it's going to stay borderline. But it is very much like baity and romantic in that sense. Like it very easily could flip over. What it kind of reminds me of is when Yuri on Ice first started airing, and you had like the group of people that were like, no, they're just gonna be friends, it's a friendship story. Sorry, we all know how that turned out. So I'm interested in seeing like how this goes. I'm torn between whether I want to watch the anime now or wait until I get more of the story, because there'll be obviously spoilers for what's going to happen. At this point, it's kind of similar, like relationship wise, between the two characters to like how like Morose Mononokean would be, like something like that, where there's like this strong bond between these two male characters, but it's not like overtly romantic, if that makes sense. Although, again, I'll say there is more flirtiness and romance in this than in one of those other series. So, I don't know. I'm going to see. Maybe I'll see sooner, because maybe I'll check out the anime and see if it gets any, like, overtly flirtier or keeps borderline-ish. So, I did really like it, though, so I would totally recommend it to most readers, because I think it's a series that is kind of enjoyable to anybody because of how you're getting like those little slice of life stories with the customers. I think anybody can enjoy this series. Plus there's bits of humor. It's just really good and the art's beautiful. So if you would like, please check out The Case Files of Jeweler Richard. And to the one who recommended this, thank you so much. I forgot to look up your name before doing the video, but thank you. I really enjoyed this, and now I'm recommending other people to read it, and dang it, I might have to watch another anime, but that's it for this video. Until next time, bye.